Ethan Cole was tired. He had spent the last 2 days repairing his cargo ship, the Starwind, after a small meteor shower damaged the engines. The stars outside the window shone cold and distant, as if they were watching him, judging him. He rubbed his eyes and shook his head. Space travel was never easy, but this trip had been harder than usual. Supplies were running low, and he still had a week's worth of cargo to deliver. He adjusted the controls and tried to get the engine systems online. Sparks flew from one panel, and smoke curled into the cabin. Ethan cursed quietly. He was a good pilot, maybe one of the best in the outer colonies, but even he could not predict the dangers of unknown space. "Just another day in the edge of the galaxy," he muttered, his voice sounding hollow in the quiet cabin. He checked the navigation map. A small, uncharted moon appeared on the display. A red warning flashed beside it. Atmosphere unstable. Normally, Ethan would have avoided it. Unknown moons with unstable atmospheres were dangerous, sometimes deadly. But the ship's engines were failing, and he had no choice. If he did not land, he would drift forever into the void. He set the landing trajectory carefully. The ship shook violently as he entered the moon's thin atmosphere. Alarms beeped, and the screen flashed warnings of hull stress. Ethan gritted his teeth, gripping the controls tightly. The Starwind lurched, and a spark of panic ran through him. He had survived worse, but he did not like feeling so close to death. After minutes that felt like hours, the ship landed roughly on the rocky surface. The cabin was filled with dust and smoke. Ethan coughed and waved the air clear. "I hope you're worth it," he said quietly to himself, looking at the strange gray landscape outside. Jagged rocks jutted into the pale sky. No plants, no signs of life, just silence. It was beautiful in a harsh, empty way. He checked the cargo, making sure nothing had been damaged. Most of it survived, but some crates were cracked. He sighed. Repairs would have to wait. Survival came first. He stepped out of the ship in his suit. The thin air made his head spin slightly. He checked the horizon. Nothing moved. It seemed empty. But Ethan had learned long ago that empty places were often the most dangerous. That's when he saw her. A figure crouched on the rocks, small and thin. She had pale blue skin that glimmered faintly in the moonlight. Her hair was long and silver, almost blending with the rocks. Her eyes were large and violet, staring at him with curiosity and fear. Ethan froze for a moment. He had seen alien species before, but never like her. She looked fragile, almost like a child. Yet he sensed power beneath her calm. "Hello?" he said softly, raising a hand. She did not move. Ethan stepped closer, careful not to scare her. The girl, Lyra, tilted her head and watched him. Her eyes seemed to see more than the world in front of her. She could feel his fear and his kindness. Ethan lowered his helmet visor and smiled gently. "I'm not going to hurt you. I just need help." She studied him for a long moment. Then she took a small step back, keeping her distance. Ethan noticed small wounds on her arms and legs. Some cuts were fresh. She had clearly been hiding for a long time. His heart tightened. He could not leave her here. He knelt on the rocks, careful not to move too fast. "My name is Ethan. I can help you. You don't have to be alone." The alien girl flinched slightly. She spoke, her voice soft, like a song. I cannot stay. They will find me." Ethan nodded. "I understand, but you're hurt. We can fix that. Please." She hesitated. The moon was silent, as if it were holding its breath. Finally, she nodded slightly. Ethan felt relief wash over him. He helped her to the ship. Inside the cabin, he removed her from her cloak. The wounds were shallow, but some were bleeding. Ethan worked quickly with the first aid kit, cleaning and bandaging the cuts. She watched him quietly, never moving, her large eyes filled with wonder and fear. "Why are you alone here?" Ethan asked gently. My people. They hunt me, she whispered. I did not choose this. Who hunts you? Those who control everything. The council of my kind, she said. She shivered. Ethan realized that she trusted him enough to speak, even a little. He nodded, thinking. Aliens often had councils, rulers, armies. Some were kind, but many were cruel. If they were after her, she must be important. You're safe here, he said quietly. At least for now. I won't let anyone hurt you. She looked down, unable to meet his eyes. Ethan noticed the small tremble in her hands. She was scared, but also brave. He respected that. Over the next few hours, Ethan checked the ship's engines and systems. Lyra stayed in the cabin, watching silently. She did not ask questions. She seemed to understand that survival came first. Ethan offered her water and food, small rations meant for long trips. She hesitated, then accepted. As the stars moved outside, Ethan felt a strange connection. He did not know why, but he felt protective of her. She was not just another alien. She was someone who could not survive alone in this galaxy. He had seen death too many times to ignore someone in need. The night passed slowly. Outside, meteors streaked across the sky, and distant planets glimmered faintly. Ethan did not sleep much. He kept watch, listening for signs of danger. Lyra sat quietly, sometimes touching the bandages on her arms, sometimes looking out at the stars. Suddenly, a faint sound came from the moon's surface. A low hum, almost like vibration through the rocks. Ethan froze. He grabbed a small pulse gun from the side. The hum grew louder. Lyra looked frightened. They are coming, she whispered. They can track me. We have to move, Ethan said. He grabbed a map and plotted a course to a nearby canyon. The engines were weak, but they could lift the ship off the ground for a short jump. As they prepared, Ethan realized something. He did not know who exactly they were running from or what she had done to be hunted, but he knew this. In space, being alone was deadly. Being together gave them a chance. The ship lifted off the rocky surface. The engines groaned, sparks flying from old circuits. Ethan pushed the ship to its limits, maneuvering through jagged cliffs and narrow valleys. Lyra held onto a seat, her eyes wide with fear. Ethan spoke calmly. We will make it. Just hold on. For hours they flew, avoiding patrols and strange detection systems. Lyra spoke little, but sometimes she murmured about the stars, about planets she had never seen. Ethan listened, feeling a connection grow stronger. She was strange, yes, but her voice was gentle, almost musical. It soothed the tension in his mind. Finally, they found a hidden cave system on a small moon. It was dark but safe. Ethan landed the ship inside the cave, shielding them from sensors outside. They were hidden. For now, the hunters could not find them. Ethan turned to Lyra. We are safe here for a while. We can rest. She nodded, her eyes glimmering. Thank you, she whispered. He smiled faintly. We look after each other in space. That is the only way to survive. As night passed, Ethan reflected on what had happened. He knew that meeting Lyra was not chance. Someone or something had brought them together. She was special, he could feel it. And in this galaxy, special often meant dangerous. Lyra, alone in the cave, touched the bandages on her arms. She felt something new, hope. For the first time in months, maybe years, she felt safe. She trusted a human. It was forbidden. Her people would never allow it. And yet she could not deny the feeling. Ethan had saved her life. As they drifted into sleep outside the cave, silent machines moved in the shadows. Ancient watchers, left by a race long gone, had detected the presence of the girl. The machines were quiet, almost invisible, but they were watching. The galaxy had noticed her arrival, even if she did not know it. Ethan did not know this yet. All he knew was that he had a companion in a strange, dangerous galaxy, someone who depended on him. And in space, that was enough reason to fight. Morning came slowly. The cave was quiet, the stars fading behind distant suns. Ethan prepared breakfast rations while Lyra moved silently, exploring the small safe zone. She asked questions quietly, learning about humans, about the ship, about Ethan. He answered as simply as he could. She seemed fascinated by everything, the small machines, the way humans ate, even the sound of his voice. "Why do humans care so much for others?" she asked suddenly. Ethan paused. He did not expect the question. He thought carefully. "Because we have to. Space is dangerous. Life is short. If we do not care for each other, no one will." Lyra nodded slowly as if understanding. She touched a small device on her arm. "My people. They cannot understand this. They think only of power." "Power is nothing without someone to protect," Ethan said quietly. She looked at him with a faint smile. For a moment, the cave felt less empty. Two beings from very different worlds, together in a dangerous galaxy, learning to trust each other. But outside, in the cold void of space, danger waited. Hunters would come. The council of her people would send soldiers. And the galaxy itself would soon stir. Ethan and Lyra did not know it yet. Their meeting was not just chance. It was the start of something that could change everything. And in that quiet cave, a human and an alien girl began a story that no one could have predicted. A story that might save the galaxy or destroy it. Ethan Cole and Lyra stayed hidden in the cave for days. Outside, the moon was silent, cold and empty. Inside, the air smelled faintly of metal and dust from the ship. Ethan spent most of his time repairing the Star Wind, patching small damages from the landing and checking systems for further failures. Lyra watched him quietly, occasionally helping by handing tools or holding equipment. She was learning quickly, faster than Ethan expected. Even though she looked like a child, there was intelligence in her every movement. Her violet eyes missed nothing. Ethan could not help but notice her focus and calm. It made him feel both amazed and cautious. He knew the galaxy would not let someone like her survive easily. "How long can we hide here?" Lyra asked one evening, her voice soft. She sat on a rock, brushing her silver hair back from her face. "As long as we need," Ethan replied. He tightened a bolt on the engine panel. Sparks flew, and he winced. "We can't stay forever, but for now we are safe. No one can find us here." Lyra looked down at her hands. "My people, they will come. They always come." Ethan nodded. He had learned quickly that alien politics were dangerous. Some were cruel beyond imagination. "Then we prepare. We don't run blindly. We stay smart. We survive." Days turned into weeks. Ethan and Lyra began to trust each other more. Lyra told Ethan stories about her homeworld. She did not tell much at first, just small details, like the colors of the skies, the patterns of her people's cities, and the songs of her childhood. Ethan listened and sometimes asked questions. He told her about the human colonies, about life on far planets, and about simple things like favorite foods and stories told by grandparents. One quiet night, Lyra woke Ethan. She looked frightened. Her hands shook slightly. "Ethan, I feel strange," she whispered. "What do you mean?" Ethan asked. Sitting up, she hesitated. "Something inside me is changing. I do not understand it. It is new." Ethan frowned. "Changing how? Like a sickness?" She shook her head. "Not sickness. It is life. I feel life inside me. A child." Ethan's eyes widened. He sat in stunned silence. The words repeated in his mind. A child? But how? He had read about alien species, and Lyra's kind could only reproduce with each other. A human child? Impossible. "You're carrying a child?" he asked carefully. Lyra nodded slowly, tears forming in her eyes. I do not know how it happened. It should not happen. My people. If they find out. She trailed off, fear heavy in her voice. Ethan put a hand on her shoulder gently. We will deal with it. We have to. First, we survive, then we figure out the rest. Lyra looked at him, her violet eyes wide. If they know, Ethan, they will come for us. They will want it gone. Then we make sure that does not happen, Ethan said firmly. He had never felt so protective in his life. She was small, fragile, and yet this child inside her was something extraordinary. He did not know why, but he felt it already mattered. Over the next days, Ethan studied the situation. He realized that hiding would not be enough forever. If her people sent hunters, they could track them easily. They needed a plan. He contacted old human friends, using hidden comlinks and encrypted channels. Lucas Gray, a former space pilot, responded quickly. So did Emma Brooks, a scientist who had worked with advanced alien systems. Both agreed to help. Humans could hide them, but only temporarily. Meanwhile, Lyra struggled with her new reality. She sometimes felt strange cravings, sudden bursts of energy, and moments of confusion. Ethan stayed close, calming her and keeping her focused. He learned to read her moods, anticipating what might frighten or distress her. One evening, while watching the stars through a small window in the cave, Lyra spoke quietly. Ethan, do you think it is dangerous? The child? Ethan thought carefully. Maybe. Maybe not. We do not know. But one thing is clear. We will protect it. Nothing matters more than life. Not politics, not fear. Life comes first. Lyra nodded, feeling a strange warmth at his words. She did not understand humans fully, but she felt their strength differently now. Humans were not just strong in battle or clever in strategy. They had something else: loyalty, care, and courage. As the days passed, small attacks began. Drones appeared in the skies above the hidden moon. Silent, fast, almost invisible. Ethan and Lyra watched as they passed overhead, careful not to be detected. The hunters were coming. They had been tracking Lyra's energy signature. We cannot stay here much longer, Ethan said one morning after observing the drones. We need to move. They will find this place eventually. Lyra nodded. Where can we go? Ethan considered. There is a sector far from known space. Few ships pass there. We can hide on a small planet maybe for months. Months? Or years? She asked, fear in her voice. We do what we can, Ethan replied. He had no illusions. The galaxy was not safe. Nothing was safe. But they had each other, and that gave them a chance. As they prepared to leave, Ethan noticed a strange change in Lyra. Her energy seemed different, brighter, stronger. He could feel it in the ship's systems, in the way the engines reacted to her presence. She was extraordinary, but he did not yet understand how. The journey through space was tense. Ethan piloted carefully, avoiding known patrol routes and areas of high traffic. Lyra stayed near him, sometimes placing a hand on the controls to help guide the ship. She had a natural understanding of the ship's systems, something humans often lacked. Ethan was impressed. One night, while they rested, Lyra spoke about her people. My leaders, they are cruel. They value power above life. They do not care about anyone but themselves. Ethan nodded. Then we know what we are up against. Fear, rules, politics. They are all useless if they cannot see life as important. Lyra smiled faintly. Humans, they see things differently. We survive because we care, Ethan said simply. We fight because we care. And we win because we will not give up. They continued through space, moving slowly, carefully. During the journey, Lyra's condition grew more pronounced. She sometimes rested for hours, her body glowing faintly in the dark cabin. Ethan watched her closely, making sure she did not overexert herself. He also noticed strange phenomena in nearby star systems. Energy patterns shifted. Small lights blinked in unison, almost as if space itself was reacting to her. "Ethan, do you see that?" Lyra asked one night, pointing at a cluster of lights on the view screen. "I see it," Ethan said, "but I don't understand it. Maybe it's the child." She nodded, silent. She did not know what it meant either. Only that something deep inside her and inside the baby was awakening. As they traveled further, they encountered other ships. Some were traders, curious and harmless. Others were aggressive, scanning the area for anomalies. Ethan piloted skillfully, avoiding detection. He used tricks and maneuvers from years of experience. Lyra learned quickly, helping him predict sensor readings and movement patterns. They became a team. But danger was growing. News of hybrid children, though rare, had spread through galactic networks. Rumors of alien-human offspring triggered fear, anger, and greed. Bounty hunters, soldiers, and scientists all had reasons to seek Lyra and the child. Ethan and Lyra were no longer just hiding, they were being hunted. One day they received a transmission on a hidden frequency. It was a simple message, no words, just a symbol, a triangle inside a circle. Lyra recognized it instantly. It was the mark of the council of her people. "They know," Lyra whispered, fear breaking her calm. "Then we have no choice," Ethan said firmly. "We move, now." They set a course for a small, uninhabited planet at the edge of the sector. It was rough, with mountains and forests, almost untouched. Ethan landed carefully, keeping the ship hidden among rocks and trees. For now, it was safe. Inside a small cave near a river, they set up a temporary home. Lyra rested while Ethan checked the surroundings. He made traps, set alarms, and planned escape routes. The hunters could arrive at any moment, and he would be ready. As night fell, Lyra spoke quietly. "Ethan, I am afraid. If they take the child, if they kill it..." Ethan took her hand. "They will not. We will not let them. No one takes life from us. No one." She leaned on him, drawing comfort from his presence. For the first time, she felt safe. For the first time, she believed that maybe humans were not weak. Maybe they had a strength deeper than anything she had known. But beyond the forests, in the dark of space, danger waited. The council of her people was mobilizing, fleets were gathering, hunters were closing in, and the child, still unknown to the galaxy, would soon make its presence impossible to ignore. Ethan and Lyra did not know the full danger yet. They only knew they had each other, and that for now it was enough to survive. And so, in a quiet cave on a distant planet, a human and an alien girl began to face the greatest challenge of their lives. A secret child inside her was changing the rules of the galaxy, and the world as they knew it was about to grow much more dangerous. Ethan Cole and Lyra had stayed hidden on the small forested planet for weeks. The quiet life helped them rest, but they both knew danger was never far. Every night, Ethan checked the perimeter, using small sensors and traps to detect intruders. Lyra, though still fragile, had grown stronger. Her connection to the child inside her seemed to give her energy beyond what a normal alien might have. Ethan watched her carefully, wondering how much power she really had and how soon the galaxy would notice. One morning, Ethan scanned the skies with his small scope. Something moved. A tiny ship far above the atmosphere, silent, fast. His heart sank. "They're here," he said quietly. Lyra looked up at him, eyes wide. "Hunters?" she whispered. "Yes, and they are close," Ethan said. "We have to move again." They packed quickly. The forest was dense, full of thick trees and rocky terrain. Ethan had hidden supplies in different spots in case they had to run fast. Lyra carried only small essentials, but she moved with surprising strength. Ethan realized the child was changing her, in ways he could not fully understand. As they reached the edge of the forest, they saw the hunters landing in small shuttles, black, sleek, almost invisible in the morning fog. Ethan signaled Lyra to stay low. He pulled the ship's emergency boosters, and they took off in a small, camouflaged craft he had prepared. The hunters followed, but Ethan was skilled. He maneuvered through narrow valleys, dodging rocks and clouds of dust. The small ship groaned under stress, but he pushed it to the limit. Lyra's hands hovered over the controls, helping him anticipate shifts in energy fields. Together, they made a perfect team. Hours later, they reached a derelict space station floating on the edge of a gas giant. It was abandoned, old, and dangerous, but it offered temporary safety. Ethan landed the small ship inside a hollow docking bay. Inside, the station was dark and silent. Wires hung from the ceiling, and small lights flickered in rhythm with the hum of old engines. Lyra explored quietly, her curiosity stronger than fear. Ethan followed, checking each corner, making sure they were not being tracked. "Why is this place abandoned?" Lyra asked. "Because everyone who tried to use it before failed," Ethan said simply. "It's dangerous, but we have nowhere else to go." They set up a small living space near the central control room. Ethan powered up the old systems, using the station's energy to hide their ship and block communications. Lyra watched as he worked, fascinated by human ingenuity. "Humans are clever," she said softly. "We survive because we have to," Ethan replied. "We do what we can, no matter what." Days passed. Lyra's condition grew more pronounced. She sometimes rested for hours, her body glowing faintly with strange light. Ethan noticed it, but he said nothing. He only made sure she was safe and comfortable. He also began noticing signals in the station, old machines awakening, reacting to her presence. It was subtle at first, just small lights blinking in sequence, systems coming online that had been dead for decades. One night, while Ethan adjusted old sensor panels, Lyra spoke quietly. "Ethan, the child, it is stronger than I thought. I can feel it, everywhere. Machines, energy, even the stars." Ethan nodded slowly. He felt it too. "That is why they are hunting us. They know it is important. They fear it." Lyra's violet eyes widened. "Fear? For what? It is only a child." "It is never only a child," Ethan said. He remembered his own life, the struggles he had faced, the dangers of the galaxy. Even the smallest life can change everything. While they rested, transmissions began to appear on hidden frequencies. Some were human, warning of hunters. Others were alien, cold and official, demanding information about Lyra and the child. Ethan ignored most. He knew talking to the wrong person would be death. But he recorded everything, preparing for the day they might need allies. It did not take long. A scout ship approached the station, sleek and black. Ethan could see the faint outline of soldiers inside. He realized that this was not just a hunt, it was a siege. They wanted Lyra and the child no matter the cost. "We can't fight them head-on," Ethan said, scanning the station's sensors. "We have to be smart. We hide, we move, we survive." Lyra nodded. "But if they find us, if they take the child, Ethan—" She trailed off, fear heavy in her voice. "They will not," Ethan said firmly. "We will make sure of it." As the scout ship landed outside the station, Ethan and Lyra prepared to hide deeper inside. They used old service tunnels, small maintenance rooms, and collapsed corridors to avoid detection. Ethan led, checking for sensors, alarms, and traps. Lyra followed, her steps quiet but confident. Hours passed. The soldiers moved methodically, scanning each room. Ethan held his breath, praying they would not notice the faint energy emanating from Lyra. The child's presence was strong, almost impossible to hide. He could feel the weight of the galaxy pressing against them, but he did not falter. Finally, the soldiers moved on, leaving the station for now. Ethan and Lyra exhaled quietly, relief washing over them. "We cannot stay here," Ethan said. "They will come back. We need a plan." Lyra touched her stomach, feeling the child move. "The child, it knows we are being hunted. It senses them." "Then we use it," Ethan said slowly. "Not to fight, but to survive. We move when they least expect it." Over the next days, Ethan taught Lyra how to control her energy subtly, using the child's presence to mask their location. It was not easy, but she learned quickly. Ethan marveled at her ability, realizing that this child could change the galaxy, even if no one understood how. During this time, Ethan contacted his old human friends again. Lucas Gray sent supplies, while Emma Brooks provided information about alien patrols and safe routes. Ethan realized that humans were divided. Some feared angering Lyra's people. Others saw the child as proof that humans mattered in the galaxy. One evening, Lyra spoke quietly. "Ethan, do you think the Council Nest will start a war?" "They might," Ethan said grimly. "If they want the child gone and they cannot find it, war is the only way to force it." Lyra shivered. "War, death, suffering. We survive because we care," Ethan said firmly. "We do not start war, we end it when we can, and we protect life, no matter what." As they spoke, strange signals appeared in the station's old sensors. Lights blinked in sequence, machines powered up, and systems long dead began to hum. Ethan realized something important. The child's presence was awakening ancient technology. The galaxy itself was reacting to them. "Look at this," Ethan said, pointing at the screens. "These machines, they are activating. They sense the child." Lyra's eyes widened. "What does it mean?" "I don't know," Ethan admitted. "But it could be good or very bad." While they planned, a fleet of alien ships appeared on the edge of the sector. Their sleek designs and black hulls were unmistakable. Ethan recognized them immediately as Council forces, well-armed, fast, and deadly. They had mobilized quickly, and the galaxy was turning against them. "They know," Lyra whispered. "They are coming for the child." "Then we prepare," Ethan said calmly. He had learned over the years that fear did not help. Only planning and action saved lives. "We move fast, we hide smarter, and we survive." Over the next few days, Ethan and Lyra used the station's systems to track the fleet. They learned patrol patterns, weak points, and blind spots. Ethan modified the ship to hide it from sensors. Lyra helped by using her energy to mask their presence. Together, they became almost invisible. But danger grew closer. Smaller ships appeared inside the system, scanning for life signs. Ethan realized that even if they could hide the main ship, the child's energy could be detected. They needed to move soon before the fleet discovered them. One night, as they prepared to leave, Lyra touched her stomach. The child moved strongly, almost intentionally. Ethan watched her carefully. It was as if the child knew the danger and wanted to help. "The child?" Lyra whispered. "It wants us to move." Ethan nodded. "Then we follow it. Carefully, quietly, and fast. We survive." As they left the station, the fleet began to scan the area more aggressively. Ethan piloted the small ship through asteroids, hidden valleys, and dark nebulae. Lyra focused, using the child's presence to hide their energy. The hunters searched, but they could not find them. For now, they survived. But Ethan knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was turning against them. The Council was mobilizing. Alien leaders, soldiers, and bounty hunters were closing in. And the child, still unknown to the galaxy, would soon become impossible to hide. Ethan looked at Lyra. "We cannot stop them from hunting us forever, but we can survive." "We will survive." Lyra nodded, her violet eyes glowing faintly in the dim light of the cockpit. "Together? Together," Ethan said firmly. And so the human and the alien girl continued their journey. Hunted, feared, and misunderstood, they had no allies in the galaxy. Yet they survived because they trusted each other. And in that trust, they found a strength the hunters could not understand, and a power that could change the fate of the stars. But danger was growing, and soon the child would make its presence known to all. And when that happened, the galaxy would never be the same. Ethan Cole and Lyra had traveled for weeks through hidden star systems. They avoided patrols and scanned the stars constantly. The child inside Lyra was growing quickly, and she felt its strength every day. Sometimes, she could feel energy moving through her, through the ship, and even in nearby planets. Ethan noticed the strange patterns, too. Machines, satellites, and even old star systems reacted to her presence. "Ethan, it is stronger now," Lyra whispered one night, her violet eyes wide. They were glowing faintly in the dim light of the cockpit. She placed a hand on her stomach, feeling the child move. "I can feel it everywhere. The stars, the machines, the energy. It listens to the child." Ethan swallowed. He did not fully understand it either, but he knew this was extraordinary. He placed a hand on hers. "Then we protect it. No matter what comes, we survive together." Lyra nodded, drawing comfort from his presence. She had never felt such trust before. Humans were strange, but they had a strength that aliens often underestimated: care, loyalty, and determination. These things kept humans alive in the deadliest places. And now, Ethan was teaching her how to survive in a galaxy that feared them both. They found a small, abandoned research station near a quiet moon. It had old medical facilities and a safe landing bay. Ethan landed carefully, keeping the ship hidden. The station was dark, the lights flickering, but it offered shelter. "This will be our home for now," Ethan said. He helped Lyra inside. She was tired, but she moved with quiet strength. The child inside her moved constantly, sending waves of energy through her body. Sometimes it was gentle, sometimes strong enough to make her stumble. Ethan helped her to a bed, holding her steady. "I feel different," Lyra whispered. "The child, it is alive in a way I cannot explain." "It is part of you," Ethan said softly. "And together, we will keep it alive." Weeks passed. Ethan worked on improving the station's defenses, using old shields and sensors. Lyra rested as much as she could, but the child's presence was strong. She sometimes floated slightly above the bed, energy flowing around her. Ethan watched quietly, making sure she was safe. One night, Lyra called Ethan. "Ethan, I feel it. It is time." Ethan looked at her, alarmed. "What do you mean?" "The child wants to be born," she said, fear and awe in her voice. Ethan realized it was true. The energy around her surged, machines in the station activating without explanation. Lights blinked, sensors hummed, and panels long dead came alive. The child was awakening something in the galaxy. "We have to prepare," Ethan said. He checked medical supplies, old cryo chambers, and emergency systems. He held Lyra's hand as she struggled with the energy surging through her. The birth could not wait, and it was not safe. Hours later, the birth began. Lyra's body glowed, faint light surrounding her. Ethan stayed calm, helping her breathe, guiding her through every step. The station's old machines hummed and shifted, reacting to the energy of the child. It was not just a birth, it was an awakening. Finally, the child came into the world. A small, fragile being with pale skin, faint silver hair, and eyes that reflected the stars themselves. It did not cry. Instead, a wave of energy radiated from the child. Lights in the station dimmed, then brightened, moving in harmony with the child's presence. Ethan held the baby carefully. "It is amazing," he whispered. The child's energy pulsed gently through his hands, yet it felt safe. Lyra rested, exhausted but smiling faintly. "It is alive, and it knows. It can feel everything." Ethan looked around the station. Machines hummed, old systems powered up, satellites in orbit adjusted their paths slightly. It was as if the galaxy itself recognized the child. He realized this was not just any birth. This was something the galaxy had never seen. The child moved its small hand. A faint light touched the panels of the station, activating them fully. Ethan and Lyra watched in awe. The child could connect with machines, energy, and systems in a way no human or alien had ever done. "Ethan, it is powerful," Lyra whispered, fear mixed with awe. "We must protect it, at all costs." Ethan nodded. "We will. Nothing can touch it. We survive because we must." The next day, transmissions began to flood in. Alien ships, sensing the unusual energy, moved closer. The Council of Lyra's people had discovered the child. Fleets gathered in distant systems, preparing to strike. Bounty hunters, scientists, and soldiers all sought the child. "They are coming," Lyra said quietly. "They will not stop." Ethan held her hand. "Then we move. The child's power will help us, but we must be smart. We survive no matter what." Over the next days, Ethan and Lyra used the child's energy carefully. It could interact with old systems, shut down sensors, and even disable weapons temporarily. They moved silently, avoiding patrols, hiding among asteroids, and using the child's presence to mask their energy. One night, while hiding in an abandoned outpost, Ethan spoke quietly. "Do you know what this means?" he asked. "The child, it can change the galaxy. Not through war, but through control of systems and machines. Fleets, planets, weapons, everything." Lyra's eyes widened. "So, we must hide it, and protect it before they try to use it." "Exactly," Ethan said. "If the Council captures it, they will use it as a weapon, and the galaxy will burn." Over time, they realized the child's presence caused strange reactions. Old satellites began transmitting signals on ancient frequencies. Dormant ships powered on. Old weapon systems, long abandoned, responded to the child's energy. Ethan realized something important. The child was awakening technology from a long-forgotten era. The galaxy itself was responding. "Ethan, the child," Lyra whispered. "It is not just a baby. It is a bridge. Something old, something new, together." "Then we protect it," Ethan said firmly. "We survive, we hide, and we do not let anyone take it." But danger was growing closer. Fleets began arriving near known star systems. Humans were divided. Some feared angering alien powers. Others saw the child as proof that humans were stronger than anyone believed. Alien leaders argued, soldiers prepared, and bounty hunters began spreading rumors. The galaxy was on the brink of chaos. One night, Lyra felt the child stir violently. Energy radiated outward, touching old machines across the station. Panels flickered, lights blinked, and sensors hummed. Ethan realized the child could not hide forever. It was too powerful to be ignored. "They will find us soon," Ethan said quietly. "We cannot hide the child forever. We must move to a place no one expects, and prepare for what comes next." Lyra nodded, exhausted but determined. "We survive. Together." As they prepared to leave, distant fleets moved in the dark void. Alien ships, black and silent, adjusted their course toward them. Ethan piloted carefully, using asteroids, debris, and the child's energy to mask their presence. Lyra focused, channeling the child's power to hide them from sensors and detection. Hours later, they found a small hidden system. It was remote, almost untouched, with planets and moons far from known routes. Ethan landed on a quiet moon surrounded by mountains and forests. It was temporary, but safe, for now. Inside the small caves near the landing site, Ethan held the child, marveling at its power and presence. Lyra rested nearby, exhausted but smiling faintly. The child's energy pulsed softly, interacting with the station's systems and even the natural environment. "Ethan, what will happen?" Lyra asked. "The galaxy, the council, they will not stop." "Then we survive," Ethan said. "We protect it, hide it, and use its power to survive. The galaxy may not understand humans or life, but we will show them our strength, quietly, patiently, but without fear." As night fell on the quiet moon, distant stars glimmered. Fleets moved silently in distant systems. The Council of Lyra's people planned war. Humans argued and debated. The galaxy was tense, ready to ignite. But inside a small cave on the edge of a remote moon, a human, an alien girl, and a child who could awaken the past rested quietly. They had survived so far. They had hope. And the galaxy, unknowingly, had begun to change. Because the child was alive, and the child's power could not be ignored. Ethan Cole held the child gently, feeling its soft pulse of energy in his hands. Lyra sat nearby, exhausted but alert. The quiet moon they had chosen as a temporary home felt safe for now, but Ethan knew it would not last. The galaxy was moving toward them. Fleets of alien ships, soldiers, and hunters were searching for the child. The Council of Lyra's people would not rest until they had captured it. "Ethan, they are coming," Lyra whispered. Her violet eyes reflected fear and worry. The child stirred in her arms, glowing softly, as if aware of the danger. "Then we prepare," Ethan said calmly. "We survive, we hide, and when we must, we fight. We protect life no matter what." They spent the next hours strengthening their hiding place. Ethan used old technology from the research station, reinforcing the caves with shields and traps. Lyra rested when she could, concentrating on the child and its growing energy. Ethan noticed the power radiating from the baby. It was strong, intelligent, and almost aware of the galaxy around it. "The child, it can sense them," Lyra said. "The ships, the hunters, even the Council's fleets, they all know." "Then we use it," Ethan replied. "Not to destroy, but to survive. The galaxy may fear us, but we will not give up." They had barely finished preparations when small scout ships appeared in the orbit above the moon. Ethan observed them quietly. The scouts were fast, silent, and armed. The Council's forces had found them. "We cannot outrun them forever," Ethan said, "but we can outsmart them." He piloted the child's small ship carefully, using asteroids and dense meteor fields to hide. Lyra focused, connecting her energy to the child's presence. The sensors on the scouts went haywire. The child's power created interference, making them nearly invisible. Hours passed. The fleet grew larger. Distant ships activated weapon systems, scanning for any signs of life. Ethan realized that if the child's presence was discovered fully, war would begin across the galaxy. He needed to act carefully. "Ethan, what do we do?" Lyra asked, worry in her voice. "We show them humans are strong in ways they do not understand," Ethan said simply. "We survive, we protect life, and we act wisely." The next day, they left the moon. Ethan piloted the ship through hidden routes, using old technology to mask their energy signature. Lyra held the child close, her energy flowing with its presence, hiding them further. For now, the fleets could not follow, but the Council was relentless. They sent more ships, more scouts, and even old war machines from long-forgotten systems. The galaxy was awakening to the child's presence. Everywhere, machines powered on, satellites realigned, and old weapons systems activated. The child's energy touched everything, connecting it to a past no one fully understood. Ethan. The child, it is everywhere, Lyra whispered. Her eyes were wide. Machines, ships, even planets, they respond to it. Then we use that, Ethan said. We do not destroy, we survive, we hide. We show the galaxy our strength, quietly, without attacking first. They traveled to a hidden system, remote and almost forgotten. Planets and moons surrounded them, covered in forests and mountains. Ethan landed carefully on a small, remote planet. Inside a cave near a river, they rested. The child glowed softly, its energy interacting with the environment. Small machines nearby, long abandoned, powered on. Ethan realized the child could awaken old systems without even trying. Ethan, the galaxy, they cannot ignore it, Lyra said. They will come. They will try to take the child. Then we make them see something new, Ethan said firmly. Humans are not weak. We protect life and we survive through courage, patience, and care, not through violence, unless we must. Soon, the fleets arrived in nearby systems. Hunters and soldiers searched tirelessly, scanning planets and moons. Ethan prepared the child's energy to shield them, while Lyra focused on hiding their presence. The fleets fired, weapons scanning, but nothing could detect them. The child's power made them invisible, untouchable for now. They will not find us, Ethan said, confidence in his voice. The galaxy underestimates humans, but we are patient. We survive because we care, and we act wisely. Over the next weeks, the child's power grew. Ethan noticed something extraordinary. The child could connect to any machine, system, or energy network it touched. Satellites aligned with its presence, old starships moved slightly, and even distant planets adjusted their rotation subtly. It was not intentional, but the child's energy touched everything. Ethan, it is awakening the past, Lyra said. The old technology, the systems, everything responds to the child. Then we survive, Ethan said again. We protect the child, and we show the galaxy that humans are strong in ways they cannot destroy. One day, distant fleets appeared near the edge of the system. The Council had mobilized fully. Warships, soldiers, and hunters moved through space, scanning for life. Ethan realized it was time. They could no longer hide forever. Ethan, what do we do? Lyra asked, fear in her voice. We survive. We protect life. We act with care, Ethan said firmly. We show the galaxy our strength quietly but without fear. He piloted their small ship carefully, moving through asteroids and debris fields. Lyra held the child close. Its energy radiated outward, affecting systems nearby. Weapons shut down briefly, scanners malfunctioned, and fleets could not pinpoint them. The child's power was strong enough to neutralize fleets without attacking. Look, Ethan said, pointing at distant ships. They cannot attack. The child's energy stops them. We survive because we protect life, not because we fight first. The Council realized something too late. Humans were not weak. They were patient, careful, and loyal. Ethan and Lyra were humans, yes, but the child inside Lyra gave them a strength no one expected. Ethan, the fleets. They are backing off, Lyra said, awe in her voice. They cannot touch the child. Then we survive, Ethan said quietly, and we protect the child. Humans show strength through care, not just weapons. That is why we last. Over the next days, Ethan and Lyra moved carefully, staying ahead of patrols. The child's energy protected them, awakening old technology and systems along the way. The galaxy slowly realized humans were not to be underestimated. Patience, loyalty, and courage became more dangerous than fleets or armies. Finally, distant leaders called a council meeting. Alien fleets paused. The galaxy had recognized the child's presence and the human's quiet strength. Ethan and Lyra were not hunted anymore. They were respected. Fear of the child's energy forced leaders to reconsider. War was avoided, at least for now. Ethan? It worked, Lyra said softly, holding the child. The galaxy, it sees humans differently now. Yes, Ethan said. We survived. We protected life. The galaxy feared us, but it learned that humans are patient, loyal, and strong. Quietly, but without weakness. As they rested on the remote planet, the child glowed softly. Machines nearby hummed, satellites moved, and systems once abandoned powered up. The galaxy had changed, quietly, without a war. Humans had shown strength in the only way that mattered: care, loyalty, and survival. We did it, Lyra whispered. Together. Together, Ethan said. He held her hand and the child close. We survive, we protect, and we endure. That is human strength. The galaxy would never forget them. Fleets, councils, and leaders understood that humans were not weak. They were patient, loyal, and brave. They survived through care, and they acted with courage when it mattered most. Ethan, Lyra, and the child disappeared from the politics of the galaxy. They raised the child quietly on the remote planet, teaching it about life, love, and courage. Yet the galaxy remembered. Humans were no longer just fragile beings in a vast universe. They were the ones who protect life, endure danger, and change the galaxy quietly without starting wars. They were humanity's true power. And on a quiet moon, beneath distant stars, a human, an alien girl, and their child rested peacefully. They had survived the impossible, awakened the past, and shown the galaxy that life, care, and patience were stronger than any weapon. And the child's presence promised a new era, one where humans, with their quiet strength, could change the stars forever. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Never underestimate those who protect life, for they hold a power beyond fleets, weapons, and fear. And so Ethan, Lyra, and the child continued their quiet life. Safe for now, while the galaxy slowly adapted to a new reality. Humans were not weak. Humans were the future.